What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, bringing you guys my Team Builder and Battle for Season 2, week number 7 of the PCL. This week, we are taking on the Trenton Thundurus, coached by Brendan, aka Dark Devil 26. His link and stuff will be in the description down below, as well as all the other coaches in the PCL as well as a Discord to the PCL if you haven't checked that out as well. And before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know, if you did enjoy the video, feel free to please leave a like, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. So, we are heading into the second half of the PCL season, ending the first half with a nice 2-0 win in our last game against Sauk and the Minnesota Twin Needles. So we are now 4-2, tied on top of our division with Lux, and we are taking on Brendan and his Trenton Thundurus. And despite his record being 2-4 heading into this matchup, you see his team is very, very threatening, very, very annoying to deal with from an offensive standpoint. With his team consisting of the Zygarde 50%, Alolan Ninetales, Serena, Porygon 2, Lycanroc Day, Primeape, Mandibuzz, Toxapex, Volcarona, Rotom, and Mega Metagross, with his Z users being Zygarde 50% and the Primeape. So right away, the fact that he has that offensive tandem of Mega Metagross plus Zygarde 50% is just ridiculous in and of itself. And then on top of that, Volcarona is one thing, but having those 3 Mons plus Veil and having all of these well, not fat, but like bulky pivot Mons, this is definitely like a team that Brendan would draft on a regular basis because it just fits his playstyle so well. And it sucks because I now have to prep against that. But luckily, there were some things I noticed when it came to like building this team, and the main thing that came up in terms of me building this team was the fact that I could not play defensively against his team, because if his offense has any chance of setting up against my potential fat balance that I tend to bring on a regular basis, I would get blown back. So I did not want that to happen. I did not want to get swept by like a Dragonance Zygarde or a Quiverdance Volcarona. None of that stuff. And then just to compound the problem even further, the fact that he does have Aurora Veil, which means I now have to deal with that on top of the set of mons that he has at his disposal, which is just so annoying. And even more so, his bulkier mons is a bit of a problem to break through. He brings in the right combination. Like Toxapex is not. I'm not really fearing Toxapex that much, but more so, Porygon 2 can be a bit of an issue if I lose my Gallade. That's kind of what I'm referencing to. Mandibuzz can be a bit of a problem, although I do have checks to that as well. Like, I feel like I have the responses to his team, but in hindsight, I still don't like the matchup because I didn't want to prep for it. But in any case, I'm just going to quickly go down the team and what I brought for this matchup. And I do want to apologize in advance if some of the coverage does seem a bit stacked, but I'll pretty much go into that reasoning later on in the builder. So first off, we have Mega Gallade starting off the team here, or is this particular set, I like to call it the Stick Special, because nothing screams a Mega Gallade set by Sticks and having 3 attacks plus Substitute, and that's exactly what we're going with this week with Substitute, Close Combat, Rock Slide, and Zen Headbutt. The coverage is pretty much there to hit his entire team neutrally. If I'm able to get up a sub on his bulkier Pokemon, mainly the Porygon 2, for example, I can then just fire off a Close Combat. Rock Slide is there for the Volcarona, the Mandibuzz, and the Ninetales. And the last move, it was between Ice Punch and Zen Headbutt, but basically it came down to whether or not I wanted to hit the Zygarde super effectively, or I wanted to maintain some super effective coverage for the Toxapex. And I valued the latter, if only because of the fact that I'm already hitting Zygarde hard enough with Close Combat, so there wasn't really a need for me to put Ice Punch on this set, and I'm already running Rock Slide to hit Mandibuzz, so again, it was pretty redundant coverage on top of that, so I focused on going for Zen Headbutt, if only to make sure that I was not completely walled by Toxapex. I didn't want my best move to hit the Toxapex super effectively, or for any good damage at all, being Rock Slide. And I don't want to like bank on flinch chances and flinch it down and all that stuff. That's just not how I want to do things. So EV spread, very straightforward. Max attack, max speed, speed tying with his Mega Metagross. So moving on now to the next model on our team, we have Seismitoad, and not gonna lie, I really questioned this set while I was building the team, but like I mentioned before, I just could not bring defense against his squad. There is absolutely no way that defense was the way to go against a team as offensive as Brendan's, and I wanted to make sure that all of his threats were equally accounted for in this matchup. So that's what my Choice Scarf Seismitoad is designed to do. It is designed to catch his offensive threats off guard. This Seismitoad is running enough speed to outspeed his Lycanroc Day, which is his fastest non-Scarf Pokemon. I can outspeed Mega Metagross, and if it's taking any chip damage, any necessary chip damage, puts it into range of an Adamant Earthquake from my Seismitoad, that would be fantastic. I have Ice Punch to catch that Zygarde off guard, expect me to be a more bulkier set. I have Rock Slide to prevent Volcarona from thinking he could just freely Giga Drain back all that health it took on a previous turn. Nope, that's not going to work because my Rock Slide is here to blow that thing back and knock it out. And then the last move, I kind of debated between Brick Break and Knock Off for utility, but I figured Brick Break better in this scenario, just on the chance he does manage to get up Aurora Veil with a Alolan Ninetales. I wanted to have a means to break the Aurora Veil, hence this is where the Brick Break is going to come through, and I do get chip damage off on everything not named Rotom in this matchup. So running Poison Touch here, mainly because of the fact that his water type is Toxapex, and in a normal scenario, Toxapex would never click Scald against Seismitoad because of Water Absorb, and it would try to at the very least try to Toxic him, so I didn't really feel the need to run Water Absorb in a matchup where Toxapex won't click Scald against the obvious Water Absorb Seismitoad. And if I'm able to get the Ice Punch, the Poison Touch Poison on like the Zygarde if I click Ice Punch, or on the Mandibuzz as I click Ice Punch, or whatever the case may be, that would be absolutely fantastic because it means more chip damage off on those two things, which would be great, as I mentioned. So that's pretty much it. Feels nice to finally bring a non-stealth rocking Seismitoad set for once, so hopefully Scarf Seismitoad does put in a lot of work in this matchup. Then next up is my Aegislash here, which is going to be my win con this week. First time all season I am not bringing King Shield on my Aegislashes. They're very straightforward, autotomized 3 attacks. As I mentioned before, there is no way I am going to be able to win this game defensively. I have to maintain my offensive momentum if I'm able to grab it, and Aegislash is the perfect win con in this game, because if I'm able to get any damage off on stuff like Porygon 2, which is pretty much his main response to this set, same thing like especially defensive Toxapex, but if I'm able to get off any damage on those things, put him into a situation where I can then autotomize, get my weakest policy to activate, be at +2, and then the combination of Shadow Ball plus Flash Cannon plus Hidden Power Rock just decimates his entire team. Of course, Hidden Power Rock, less so for Volcarona, more so for Mandibuzz. I actually almost ended up running Head Smash on my Aegislash just to deal with those threats, but once I saw that +2 Hidden Power Rock was still doing a great chunk of damage to the Mandibuzz, especially one-hit KOing a 0 especially defensive invested Mandibuzz with +2 HP Rock is just fantastic. And I figured he wouldn't try to go specially defensive because I figured he would want to have some physical defense to better check my Mega Gallade. I'm expecting it to be Weak Armor Rocky Helmet just so we can get the jump on my Mega Gallade and knock it out with Brave Bird. But in any case, my Aegislash is designed to be my late game win con. Once I'm able to get up and autotomize, if I get my weakest policy to activate, then this thing can absolutely go in in this matchup. So that is the Aegis set. Moving on, next Pokemon we have our Ranunculus here. We're rocking Life Orb with Trick Room, Psychic Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Rock. Yes, this is another instance where I'm running rock coverage on my team, and like I said before, as I brought up again, like this is less having to do with over prepping for Volcarona. It just so happened that Volcarona is not the only Pokemon on his team that is weak to rock. There's a Alola Ninetales and mainly this Mandibuzz, which can essentially wall my Ranunculus. If I'm able to get up a Trick Room on his faster Pokemon, I can just use that speed, his speed advantage to my advantage with this Ranunculus set and just decimate something with Life Orb, Psychic plus Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball destroys the Mega Metagross. Hidden Power Rock, presumably it's specifically there for that Mandibuzz, potentially to a KOing it from full. So yeah, nothing much else to say about that. Just a very straightforward max HP, max special attack set. Again, nothing real fancy going into detail there. Then next up is my Assault Vest Nihilego. With this is my primary switch in to the Volcarona, as I don't have any other means on my team that can switch into the combination of Bug Buzz plus Fire Blast plus Giga Drain. This Nihilego set is essentially my only means of doing so. And once again, I am a speed boosting nature. I've just had a very nice hankering for speed boosting Nihilego. But in any case, the moveset's very straightforward. Power Gem for the Volcarona, and the Mandibuzz. Sludge Wave destroys Alola Ninetales. And then the last two moves here, Foul Play is nice for getting chip damage off on Mega Metagross on the switch, as Metagross should be coming in most of the time against Nihilego, since resist Power Gem, immune to Sludge Wave. And then the last move, I have Hidden Power Ice to catch the Zygarde pre-setup, so that's gonna do a good chunk of damage. I'm not Expert Belt or max special attack on this Nihilego set, but nonetheless, it still does a good job. Enough speed to outspeed Volcarona. And then I just do most of the rest into defense, so I can take stuff like Bullet Punch from Mega Metagross a little bit easier, as I do take one from full, no problem. And then for my last mon, I do have my Clefable. I did make a bit of a mistake with my Clefable, because I accidentally ended up genning this one incorrectly. I accidentally had this Clef being Magic Guard instead of Unaware, so instead of like heckling my Jenner to gen another Clefable with Unaware and Moonlight, I just took a Clefable that I had in my box, taught it Stealth Rock and Moonlight, and Thunder Wave, excuse me, and just brought that to the battle. So that was an oversight on my part. Clefable is designed to check Dragon Dance Zygarde, prevent that thing from decimating my team with 1,000 arrows, as my Zygarde switch-in is essentially Blossom, and Blossom does not have a good matchup in this game whatsoever. Like, there was no one thing Blossom could have done that could have outside of checking the Zygarde, it did nothing else in that game. Like, literally, it did nothing else. But Clefable is designed here just to get up rocks. I have Thunder Wave to slow down his Mega Metagross, cripple the Volcarona if I'm able to, Moonlight for longevity, and then Moonblast is there to deal with neutral targets, and it's a pretty spammable move in general. Of course, Moonlight will be hampered by Hail, but since I'm running Unaware, I couldn't run Wish with no Protect, because I would want that immediate recovery. And the EV spread is just very straightforward, max HP, max defense, not trying to do anything fancy in that scenario. So yeah, that's a team. Hope you guys did enjoy, and without further ado, let's shift right on over to the battle and see how we did. Alright guys, so here we are with the battle against Brendan and his Trenton Thundurus, and you can see by the team he brought, he essentially brought everything I expected in this matchup. I figured the last mon would be a bit of a toss-up here, between stuff like Serena, Porygon 2, Toxapex. Those three mons were definitely on the radar and what could potentially come, but I was 100% expecting the other 5 mons, no doubt about it. So he ended up bringing the Serena, the Mandibuzz, Volcarona, Mega Metagross, Alola Ninetales, and the Zygarde. So first thing I'm coming to mind is I figured that my best lead in this case would be my Mega Gallade, because what Mega Gallade allows me to do is I get off a huge chunk of damage on something. It doesn't matter if it one-shots or not. If he leads off with Ninetales, I can just go for Rock Slide, hope I get the flinch with that thing, and then prevent him from getting up Aurora Veil with the Ninetales, which will be very, very nice on my end, because it means if I'm able to prevent Veil from getting up on his side of the field, that means I don't have to worry about wasting a turn clicking Brick Break on my Seismitoad. So before I go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to Joseph for recording my battle, and shout out to Judas for recording now I'm getting them mixed up, for genning my team. But in any case, like I said, I'm going to lead off with my Gallade, because like I said, it's the matchup just favored it a bit more. Like, everything on his team, like Close Combat plus Rock Slide, just deals with it very, very nicely. I have no need for Zen Headbutt since he did not bring Toxapex. And in terms of Stealth Rock, his only potential Stealth Rocker is the Mega Metagross. So if he doesn't have rocks on the Mega Metagross, and that's fantastic. Well, it doesn't really, like, rocks doesn't really hinder this particular build, because nothing on the team I brought is weak to rocks. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to start the battle here. This was a very intense, fast-paced game, as I expected it to be, because I'm bringing an offensive team and Brendan has an offensive team, so it can get very annoying. It's going to be very quick, hard hitting, fast paced, all that good stuff. So just jump right into the battle here, as we're challenged by Pokemon Trainer Brendan. I'm going to lead off with Gallade, as he's going to lead off with the Serena, which was a bit surprising, but I'm okay with this. So what I'm going to do here turn 1 is I'm actually going to go for Substitute, as he's actually going to, I'm going to Mega Evolve here, go for Substitute turn 1, just to see what he wants to do in this scenario here. So I Mega Evolve, but he's going to reveal his Choice Scarf Serena, as he goes for the U-turn, gets some damage off on my Gallade, as he U-turns out into Mandibuzz, which is fantastic, because now I get up a Substitute. And while this does cost me a bit more HP, this is fine, because I now get to fire up a free Rock Slide and potentially flinch this thing down. As you see, there's a good chunk of damage to the Mandibuzz, as he's going to go for the Foul Play to break my sub. I didn't see Weak Armor activate, so this is probably just a very straightforward Leftovers. I thought it was Rocky Helmet, but he decided to be Leftovers Overcoat here. I'm going to Rock Slide again, because his only real switch in the Rock Slide is that Metagross. And there's Zygarde too, but then I can just Close Combat right afterwards. But he's going to go for Taunt here, expecting me to like set up another sub or set up like Swords Dance or whatnot. But now I'm going to fire off Close Combat here, because it definitely kills the Mandibuzz from the range of HP it was at, and I get off a big chunk of damage on his Serena. I almost knock it out with the Close Combat, which is fine. But now I'm going to preserve my Gallade here and go out into my Clefable, as it pretty much covers whatever he wants to do here. He's going to go for the knockoff here, knock off my Leftovers, which is fine. But this does allow me to get This allow me to get up my rocks for free, as he goes out into the Volcarona, as I get my Stealth Rock up here. So now I'm going to make the play and go out into my Nihilego, and he is going to pull a double here into his Mega Metagross, expecting me to go out into my Nihilego here, as it is my dedicated switch into the Volcarona. And now it's essentially play the game of pick a sack. And while I could have went Ranunculus on the Mega Metagross, I decided instead it would be in my best interest to just sack off Gallade, because Gallade already did its job. It weakened the Serena, and more importantly, it weakened the Mandibuzz, which is the main thing on his team that could have comfortably taken a hit from either my Ranunculus or my Aegislash. So I was totally fine with letting Gallade going down there. So now I get a free switch into my Ranunculus, and I know this thing cannot take me out in one hit. So he's going to make the play and sack off the Serena to the Stealth Rock here, so Clefable gets that kill, as I'm going to go for Trick Room, which is fantastic, because now I have the speed advantage against him, and whatever he has to come in, which is his Ninetales, and I'm hoping that with the Stealth Rock damage, a modest Life Orb Psychic will be enough to take out the Ninetales. Because if I take it out, that means no Aurora Veil to deal with. So I go for Psychic here, and we're just going to miss out on knocking out the Ninetales here as he gets up the Aurora Veil, which it's not imperative, but at the same time, it is annoying that I now have to waste a turn trying to get rid of it with my Seismitoad, but nonetheless, the Ranunculus takes out the Ninetales with the next Psychic as it goes out into his Zygarde. And not wanting to try to take a hit with my Ranunculus, especially because the Veil is up, I make the play out into my Clefable as he's going to go for the Dragon Dance, get up to +1, and there's still one turn left to Trick Room here, if I recall correctly, as I take the Hail Chip damage, and I really wanted to Thunder Wave this turn, but I couldn't risk him staying in as he goes out into his Mega Metagross on my Moonblast. I valued the chip on Metagross a bit more as opposed to Thunder Waving and potentially missing and me not getting anything out of that turn as the Trick Room is going to wear off here. And now it essentially comes down to, again, pick a sack. And I unfortunately am going to sack off my Nihilego because I valued my Seismitoad at least getting rid of the Veil with Brick Break. So I'm going to sack off Nihilego, and I'm thinking, okay, I think I just choked or misplayed because Volcarona now became a huger issue than it should have. But now I'm going to go onto my Scar Seismitoad. I'm going to click the Brick Break, break that Aurora Veil, get some damage off on the Mega Metagross. He's going to go for Zen Headbutt, probably revealing he does not have Grass Knot. So now I'm going to preserve my Seismitoad, go out into my Clefable, and he's going to double out himself into his Volcarona, which is fantastic, because now what this means is I can just go and fire off a free Thunder Wave, as he will not be going hard Zygarde on a Clefable. But he also reveals he's leftovers. He's going for the Fiery Dance here. I'm fine with taking damage off on this Clefable as long as I'm able to get the T-Wave off, but unfortunately I missed the T-Wave, which is going to suck immensely as I'm now forced to sack off my Volcarona. I'm forced to essentially sack off my Clefable to the Volcarona, which I didn't want to do, but like I couldn't go hard Seismitoad and risk him like predicting me and go for Giga Drain. So now I go onto my Aegislash here, and I'm really hoping that I didn't misplay here, because essentially what I just did there was reveal I was weakness policy, because I went to a Steel type on a Fire type. Like, that's like a big red flag, but he's going to go for Fiery Dance. He doesn't knock me out, as I am going to autotomize, get my weakness policy to activate. So now I'm at +2, +2, +2. I outspeed everything on his team, but unfortunately I think I set up a little bit too early, because now he can just go into his Mega Metagross and Bullet Punch me because I am in range, but I am able to take out the Volcarona with the Hidden Power Rock, so there is that. But he's instead going to go onto his Zygarde, and I'm thinking, wait, does he not have Bullet Punch on his Mega Metagross? If that's the case, if this Shadow Ball takes out the Zygarde because he can't Extreme Speed me because I'm a Ghost type, as you see, it does knock out the Zygarde. So he now goes out into his Mandibuzz here, and I'm thinking he didn't go out into his Metagross, so I don't think he has Bullet Punch. So I think that this Aegislash is going to go and pick up the sweep here as I Hidden Power Rock, take out the Mandibuzz, and all he has left is the Mega Metagross, which is going to take that Stealth Rock damage. I'm going to click Shadow Ball, and he's going to reveal not to have the Bullet Punch. We go for Shadow Ball, we knock out the Mega Metagross, and your Miami Malamarlins are going to pick up the 3-0 win over Brendan and his Trenton Thundurus on the back of Aegislash picking up the sweep that I essentially have been trying to do ever since week 1, but I finally got it to work. I finally got it to work out in my favor. I do apologize that the video was a little bit faster. I'll try to like fix that for next time. But in any case, really happy that the Aegislash was able to pull out that late game sweep in the end. I was really concerned that I misplayed at the end, considering that, okay, I went I sent out my Aegis on a Volcarona. What was I thinking? Like there was absolutely no way I should have made that play in hindsight. The correct play was, in my mind at the very least, was to go out into my Seismitoad and click Rock Slide. There was no reason for me to essentially go, hey, I'm weakness policy, attack me, you won't knock me out in one hit. That was essentially the ploy I was hoping to go with, and truth be told, I'm actually surprised it ended up working. I thought he would try to switch out Volcarona, play around the weakness policy shenanigans, but at the same time, he probably calced and assumed that Fiery Dance would knock out Aegislash from full, which unfortunately for him it didn't. And yeah, it ended up helping me out in the long run, and it helped Aegislash pick up the late game sweep, picking up those 4 kills, and then Clefable getting the passive kill on the Serena, and the Ranunculus picking up the kill on the Ninetales, although I really, really wished that Psychic knocked out that Ninetales with the to prevent me from clicking Brick Break with my Seismitoad. But in any case, we do pick up a 3-0 win over Brendan. GG as always to Brendan. It was a very, very fun game, very fast-paced, very exciting game to play, not gonna lie. So we moved to 5-2 on the season after picking up this nice 3-0 win. So yeah, we start the second half of the season, started off strong. Aegislash put in the work. Essentially everything on my team came through clutch. Kind of wish that T-Wave miss didn't happen, but outside of that, everything was pretty straightforward. Hacks free game. Outside of that, can't complain about that. We take those wins. It was a very, very fast-paced game. Definitely can get behind something like that. I'm really glad that Aegislash was able to put in the work with my Autotomized set. Really glad that Ranunculus came through with the Trick Room. Scarf Seismitoad brick breaking that Aurora Veil was fantastic, catching him off guard. I still felt like I played around the Mega Metagross pretty poorly. Like I thought I would have lost the game to Volcarona because I sacked my my Nihilego, but I valued getting rid of the Aurora Veil over preserving my Volcarona switching. And I really, really thought that was the big misplay in this game, but luckily, it didn't come back to bite me. I live to fight another day, and we come out on top in this matchup. So yeah, moving on, next week, we do have a rematch against Lux and his Groningen Glades. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that word, but it's going to be a rematch from week 4 where we took our first loss of the season due to some unfortunate para-hacks. So we're looking to get a little bit of payback against him for that. So anyway, that's going to be it from me, guys. Again, if you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out my opponent. Links and stuff will be in the description as always. And that's going to be it. Until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.